Hi guys, welcome back to a new video. Today we are here with John Scott. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are yourself?
I'm good, thank you. So,
Yeah.
what got you into wrestling?
Um, that's a good question, and I suppose my nan probably got me into wrestling. She was like a massive, she was a massive World of Sport fan, and
Oh
on like
wow,
the old '70s ITV
yeah,
stuff, Big Daddy, Nick McManus, and yeah, she used to tell me about stories when she used to sit down and watch it with her dad, and how they it was kind of like an afternoon ritual. Um,
yeah,
and at the time, it was as big as like football and other sports in this country. It was like quite a dominant kind of thing, and it was kind of considered more as a sport than entertainment that we see today. And
yeah.
then I think around about '96, when I was a kid, my nan started watching the up to date WWF stuff, and she was actually a huge Triple H fan, still is to this
Really?
day. Yeah,
Wow,
massive Triple H fan. Like literally when he was like Hunter Hearst Helmsley, she kind of watched him morph into the game, and then obviously
wow,
where he's got to now. So she had a good eye for talent, I think.
yeah. Wow, that's crazy. So, who was your favorite wrestler?
My favorite wrestler growing up was Bret Hart. For me, he was like the total kind of hero for me. I got to meet him a few times, and yeah, I just love his art in the ring. I think he's really good with his craft and just the way he delivers his matches. The match with Davey Boy Smith at SummerSlam '92 is one of like my favorite
Yeah.
matches.
Oh wow. So, can you tell me a bit about what you do?
Sure. So I'm currently at the moment, I've just taken my own company and called Powered 4. And
Wow.
what we do is we're like, like kind of Netflix and Amazon and kind of things like
Yeah.
streaming services. So we're like that, but for wrestling.
Oh
And
wow.
we've got about 15, 16 promotions signed up with us, and we're going to be launching in September. So it's a
Oh
really
cool.
it's a crazy, frantic time at the moment because we're trying to like get everything prepared for the launch, and we've just had our first promotional video go out, which has got really good feedback, which is good. But we're still looking to kind of work with other promotions out there, other kind of talent personalities to bring them in as well. There are a couple of obviously there's video on demand wrestling that you'll see around the UK, but they're all signed up to kind of a very generic streaming service. They don't really, it's not custom towards just wrestling, and I think that's the difference with
Oh
us.
okay.
We've kind of got like an internal media. We've got like our own media. We've got our own presenters, and we can just really grow and promote those promotions that work with us. So, yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at the moment. Before that, I
Wow.
had a podcast called Wrestle Line,
Okay.
and that was in conjunction with Turnbuckle TV. And I did that for about five years or so, just doing interviews like yourself, like you're doing now.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I was very fortunate enough. My first guest was Diana Hart of all people, and
Oh
she kind
wow.
of really put me on the map. And yeah, that's pretty much been it, and that's where I'm at the moment, my friend.
Wow. That's crazy. So how did you start doing a wrestling podcast?
So I got started in that. I was just literally at the time, I'd always talk to my friend about wrestling, and there was a few good podcasts around at the time. This was about 2015,
Okay.
and I was just about to go out to New York to watch SummerSlam. And I kind of thought, like, why not kind of share some of this stuff, some of my opinions on a weekly basis and see how it goes. We just used to like review WWE weekly and
Yeah.
any like pay-per-view shows, like most people do. But I think as time's gone on, and you'll probably know this yourself, although you're a YouTuber, but in the podcast world, there is an awful lot of podcasts now, and
Yeah, there
it's
is.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's quite an over flooded market. So unless you've got something really amazing, it's quite hard to compete at the moment.
Yeah, that's very true. 2 seconds. Sorry.
All right,
Uh,
mate.
Do you have any advice for people who want to get into the interviewing and podcasts and wrestling kind of world?
Yeah, I think like for most people, like certainly when I was growing up, when I was a kid, all I wanted to do was be involved with wrestling. I didn't want to be a wrestler. I just wanted
Mm.
to. I was more of the person in school that would be a promoter type. I was always trying to fantasy book matches, trying to picture things in my head, especially for the UK scene. I always wanted to start my own promotion in the UK. It was like my
Yeah,
big dream. Um, so getting into it, a lot of people around me, and you probably find this yourself, is that a lot of people say, don't be silly. You
yeah,
can't do that. People tell you you're chasing illusions and all the rest of it. But with a good solid network around you, you can get to places. Don't let anybody ever tell you not to do something. If you feel passionately about doing something, my advice to anybody out there is to just take it by the horns and go with it. You're
yeah,
always going to get rejected a few times. That's just going to happen. But just take it on the chin, move on. Their loss,
yeah,
and keep going. Keep persevering. That's kind of what I did. And in that time, I just managed to really network quite well with a lot of wrestlers and promoters and wrestling personalities that I've always kept my ear to the ground with that. Obviously, before this, I had a full-time job, and that was quite challenging to do the both. And
yeah,
it's trying to like balance out which is going to take priority. And for a long, long time, unfortunately, I never really put enough into the wrestling stuff to ever really give it a proper go. And you really have to take a bit of a leap of faith, which is kind of where I'm at now. So I think people that want to start a podcast or YouTube or any kind of media, the first things you want to do is just try and, obviously you've got to have some of the equipment, but you don't need an awful lot for a
no,
podcast,
yeah,
like a phone, a mic, whatever. It's not that crazy anymore. So you can do that. But I think just try and network as best as you can. Try and meet people, and just build trust, build rapport with other promotions.
yeah. That's very good advice. Thank you. Who's your favorite wrestlers to interview?
Oh, mate. As a is There's been a few. I would say my favourite ones is I don't know. Are you a Progress fan? Are you a
Yeah,
yeah,
huge
yeah, yeah.
Progress fan. Yeah,
Okay, so the current Proteus champion, Paul Robinson. Now,
yeah,
I wouldn't say he's like my favourite, but he's certainly the most. He keeps me on my toes. If I interview him, I'm going to get yelled at. I don't know what he's going to do. He might, maybe he'll even attack me during the interview. He's so fired up, but he's very entertaining to
yeah,
interview, and he is like one person. There's not really a Paul Robinson in the ring and a Paul Robinson out of the ring. He's kind of the same kind of person all the time. So he's quite intense. Other people, the guest you had on not too long ago, William Eva, he's another
yeah,
classic. He's
yeah. He's
fantastic as
awesome.
well. Yeah, he's really, really interesting, and a
Yeah,
lot of his views and opinions as well, which I like.
yeah,
Um, Other than that, I would say I do enjoy interviewing people like yourself, like other fellow
yeah,
podcasters, other YouTubers out there. It's always pretty good to just share opinions and
yeah. It's
bounce
really nice to
ideas and
like, yeah.
wrestling. I mean, let me ask you a quick question. Like, who?
Okay.
You're based in? Did you say Swindon? Is that right?
Yeah,
Like off there, we spoke about it. Yeah, yeah. So,
yeah.
are there any good like local promotions around where you are that you can
Um,
go to? When obviously not
yeah,
now, but when things
yeah.
were
There's
going
one called Forefront Wrestling. It's literally just down the road from me.
nice.
They have ongoing, uprising talents and stuff. It's a really good, enjoyable show.
Cool, cool. That sounds
Yeah,
good. Yeah, I mean, there's here in Essex. I'm really fortunate. A lot of the stuff is on my doorstep, like you said.
yeah,
And British wrestling before COVID was really, really doing well. It's thriving. Like
yeah,
it was just. There's never been a time where I've seen so many promotions and wrestling talent just coming out of the woodwork. Like it's a really, really good time in the industry at the moment, I think. So, who are you kind of like? You got any favourites down there at the moment, like that you kind of
Um,
keep your eye on, or?
What in 4SW?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy called Chris Bronson. He's really good. He's getting out there, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
He wrestles for Southwest Wrestling. I think he trains at Dragon Pro Wrestling as well.
Okay.
But yeah, he's
That's
really, yeah.
nice. I'll have to look him up. Yeah, I've heard of those guys. I haven't been
Yeah.
to one of their shows yet, but I've heard good things.
So who are your favourite wrestlers to watch in the UK at the moment?
Favourite wrestlers in the UK. So at the moment, I would the chap I mentioned earlier, Paul Robinson. He's definitely like he's been around for a long time. Obviously, with the Progress situation with the Progress Championship, like his name's really out there now, which is good.
Yeah.
And obviously, very recently, the WWE Network have obviously shown Progress, and he was on that as well. So you know he's
I was really
he's
happy
definitely
for
there.
him to be on that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Mariah May that I mentioned earlier as well. Chantel Jordan, I think she's definitely one of my favorites. She's just because she's kind of she looks absolutely legit. She's a kickboxer, does MMA as well, and she's incredibly young. So yeah, she's got so much potential, so much to give. I would imagine in her future. Other people, I would say there's a really good tag team local to me called the Rebellion. Taylor Essex and Jack Torino. They're really underrated. They're not out there enough, as you said earlier, like that terminology. They don't kind of go out enough out of Essex enough to kind of get that that extra fan base, that exposure. But they're a really good team. Other guys I like I really like Danny Duggan, Spike Trevay, you know. I think like the list could go on. There's a lot of people. You know, Adam Maxted is another one. I think he's really good. Obviously, guys like Will Ospreay, you know, goes without saying, you know, unbelievable talent. And you know, one of my kind of favorites, who isn't like he always gets people either love him or hate him. I've always just really liked him when he was working in our country, especially quite a lot, and that was the former Progress champion Walter. I really dig that guy. I like him a lot. I know he gets a lot of flack. Like some people love him, some people hate him, but for me, I just love the way he carried himself. He's very kind of like he was kind of like the UK's version of a Brock Lesnar for a little while, you know.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Very good.
I liked how he handed in the Atlas Championship and just went for the Progress title.
Yeah.
That was
just went straight into it. Yeah.
Yeah, and watching him live is awesome as well.
Yeah, he is like to watch him live for anybody that hasn't watched him live, like you just said, he is amazing. And I tell you what, he's very, very believable. Like the way he's like a magician. A lot of his opponents that I speak to about Walter, they say he's like a magician because he makes things just look like very painful. You know, to say the least. He's a great asset to wrestling.
I like him with Imperium as well. They're really cool.
Yeah. I'm digging them. I'm kind of like I'm excited to see NXT UK when it comes back to see like where they go with those guys next. I'm hoping. I think Walter's spoken quite a bit about that. He doesn't really want to move to the States permanently, so he always just like he's quite happy with Austria and flying in and out back to the UK. So I think he's going to be a guy that really like hopefully makes like a massive impact, but just brings NXT UK like to another level rather than him going up. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. Yeah. Who do you think are the like next uprising talents in the UK scene?
Well, I think Chantel Jordan for sure because she's like so young. I can definitely see. I think Adam Maxted, I can see him getting signed with a WWE kind of like when things get back on again. You know, he's incredibly talented. I'm quite a big fan of, although sometimes I'm not a fan of these because we've had a little bit of an engagement with Simon Miller from.
Okay.
But he. Listen, I don't like him too much as a wrestler, but I think as an on-air personality, he's fantastic. He's very good at talking and connecting with the crowd. So he's somebody as well that I think will be on their radar. Other
Yeah.
guys that I've seen, I think Corey McRae is another guy. Ridgeway is another one with TNT.
Yeah.
They're really good. But I think I would say Mariah May and Adam Maxted are probably, I would scout them out as being the next two that will probably be signed up by WWE, NXT
Yeah.
UK. Yeah.
Two people, in my opinion, who are really getting out there is Millie McKenzie and Charlie Evans with the Medusa Complex. Yeah.
Mhm.
They're like,
Yeah.
they have a way of like, oh, how do I put it? Like, they just have that way of making everybody hate them, if you get what I mean. Yeah. So this is the last one. Who do you think will win at SummerSlam with Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton?
Randy Orton. I think, what is that? That's next week. So at the moment, I'm going to say Drew McIntyre is going to be retaining the title, because I think this is like his first, for me, it's like first big defense since he's had it. I know he's had like other matches in between, but I kind of feel with Randy Orton, he's quite a big name. You know, Seth Rollins, he did have that feud with him, but Seth was coming off of a defeat off of WrestleMania with Kevin Owens. So I kind of like felt I didn't really see that they were going to just, you know, change it straight after that. But yeah, I think I would like to see Drew have the title until the day WWE can have crowds back in again, because he's never been able to experience that at the moment. You know, he won at WrestleMania. And I kind of feel like he's done quite a decent job considering no fans. He was one of the first guys that was talking to the camera rather than just at an open wall, which I kind of liked. So yeah, I'm backing Drew McIntyre to retain his title. Will you? I assume you'll be watching it.
Yeah, most definitely.
Who have you got for the win?
Drew McIntyre, 100%.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, there's a couple of other good matches that are on there as well that I'm kind of looking forward to it. And now there's a bit of news coming out that they're gonna actually have the event at a different venue, so it might be a little bit bigger. But obviously still not fans, but it's gonna just look different, which is something. So I think that will help a little bit.
Most definitely. So where can everybody find your social medias?
Sure. So you can find me I'm pretty active on Instagram. You can find me at John_Scott_ PW D4. I had to really think about that name because it's just changed. So it's John_Scott_ PWD4. And if you want to look up Powered 4, we're not yet launched, but we'll be ready in September, in the middle, I would imagine. But if you want to find more information, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Powered 4 TV. So Powered 4 TV, all as one word there.
Make sure you give him a check out. He's really cool. And thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, buddy. It's been
no problem.
Really good to talk to you, and
it's been great.
I wish you a lot of success in your future, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. Cheers.